Hi everyone, Sandy here. Welcome to my channel. I'm excited to share with you this album that I designed for Country Craft Creations using their newest paper collection called The World of Oz. It is a wonderful paper collection. You can see by these images how fun it's going to be. This is a 12 by 12 paper collection that I used. You can also get it in an 8 by 8. This is an 8 by 10 album with a nice size spine. This is a pre-made album by Uniquely Creative that you can order from Country Craft Creations, and this is the tutorial video, so stay tuned and we'll get busy making this album. To create this album, I'm going to be working with the supplies I received from my design team package from Country Craft Creations. If you want to see the items individually or up close or more in detail, I'll put the link to my haul video down below in the description so you can check that out if you wish. I'm going to be making this from the Uniquely Creative 8 by 10 flip album. I will say that these do sell out pretty quickly. If you go to the Country Craft Creations website and it says page not found, when you click on the link for this, that just means it is sold out at the moment, and they will be trying their best to get more in stock. So the Uniquely Creative albums have become very popular, and so they do sell out. So I just want to give you that little heads up on that. If you wanted to, you could make from scratch your own 8 by 10 album with different pages in here like that. There would be nothing wrong with doing that. That's totally up to you, but I'm going to show you creating this using this pre-made album. So the supplies, we have the album. Of course, to the package that I received, I'm adding my art glitter glue. I do love to use glue on my projects. I just add them to a little dispenser bottle here that I have, just because I like the smaller size and it doesn't clog up as bad on me when I do that. But I do have the full refill that you can pick up at Country Craft Creations. I will also be adding in a pack of the 12 by 12 black artisan cardstock. I'm sorry, my camera likes to change the color when it sees black. But I'm going to be using that for matting and adding in flaps, elements to the album, other additional pockets and things. That's totally up to you. You could use craft. I just think the craft of the album is a little hard to match up, so I'm going to use black. That way, if it's going to be different, I'm going to make it very different, okay? So I'm starting out with a pack of 25, a whole pack of the artisan cardstock. May not use all of that. I may end up using more. I don't know, but that's what I'm going to start with. I will try to keep track of the number of pages, extra pages of those I use, and put that in the cutting guide that I'll provide. So then, of course, one pack of the 12 by 12, The World of Oz by Country Craft Creations. So you want one of those. Leave that standing there. I also received 3 sheets each of the Neptune Blue. These are going to be great for mats of the photos. The Golden Yellow. And I think it's Queen's Fern. 3 sheets of each of those. And in this packet here, I'm not going to take it out right now because I'm not going to use it. I'm going to have the pack of the Tonic Ritz Red glitter paper. There's 5 sheets to a pack. The Fashion Poppy dots, embellishment dots, some twine, goldenrod seam binding, and the sheer blue ribbon. So all that I'll link down below. Of course, this we'll be using much later. Here in this album, show you right quickly, I have gone through and put little sticky notes of what I think I will be doing. You can do that. You might want to change some of yours up. Like here, I hope to put a waterfall back here, some kind of double pocket here. This may change. My ideas may change, but that's my way of thinking right now. So that's what I'm planning right now to kind of get my thoughts going. So I'm ready to get started on this. I'll go through it with you as I go. So let's get ready and make us The World of Oz album. For the front cover, I'm going to mat it with black cardstock, the artisan cardstock. This is an 8x10 album, but measure it and you'll see that it's actually, the cover is 8 1/4 by 10 1/4. So I've cut a piece of my black artisan at 8 by 10 because I want some of the craft to still show. So you're going to take 2 sheets of a 12 by 12 black artisan cardstock, cut it down first by 8. Save this discard piece here, turn it and cut it at 10. So we have one for the front and one for the back of the album. Now I'm trying to decide if I'm going to wrap this or just put the piece on there as we normally do. I'm afraid if I wrap it, I might not like how it ends up. So I'm going to go ahead and cut a piece for the spine, which would be 10 inches tall. And that is 2 inches. So let's cut it 1/4 inch smaller. So 1 3/4. 1 3/4. I don't think this, let's see what this one is. Yeah, we'll take one of these smaller ones. It should be 10. Nope, that's wrong. One of the taller ones here. Cut it down to 10. Sorry about that. One of your cutoffs. So for the cover on the outside, we're only using 2 sheets of the artisan cardstock, and cut this down to 1 3/4. And that's going to be the matting of that right there and the 2 pieces here. So go ahead and glue those on to the front, the back, and the spine. So I have the front and back covers glued on. Let me varnish this one right here down a little more. I can see it in the camera that it's not down as much as it should be. Okay. So I opened the album up flat. Even though it has the pages in it, it will open up flat so you can lay it down and you put your cardstock on there. So we have that on. So the next thing I think I want to do is decide what I want to use for my patterned paper here on the front. I've decided to use the blue gingham for my cover, which is the back side of this one. There's 3 sheets in your collection, so we'll have to use 2 for the cover, and we'll leave 1 so that we can have this design here later on. So I want to cut these to, you want a 7 3/4, you want 2 of them, 7 3/4. Save your discard, 7 3/4 by 9 3/4. This one, 7 3/4. And I flipped this so that I would have a cut off of this and one of Dorothy if I need it. So 7 3/4 by 9 3/4. Make sure you follow checking your cutting guide, which I will have in the link to that in the description down below that you can download and print up. Now then, we're going to have to use part of this. So I want to keep this cut up for possible use. So this is the one that I'm going to have to use for my spine, which has Dorothy. That's okay because I wanted Toto, so I have a full sheet of that anyway. So this one we're going to cut down to 9 3/4. Make sure I didn't slip there. 9 3/4. Okay, make sure it's straight. 9 3/4 by 1 1/2. 1 1/2 right there. Okay, so there we go. That's for the spine. Grab my book, and I'm going to go ahead and lay these out, and then I will glue them on. And if you're going to ink, Now would be the time, so I'm going to decide. I think I'll probably ink with a brown, possibly. I decided to ink using my Ranger Archival ink coffee color that I got from Country Craft Creations and a foam applicator. I've already inked these two pieces. This one I've done all of it except the end. I'm going to show you real quick how to do this. Grab some ink up on there and just brush the edges. Now, why did I choose brown instead of black? Because the papers, even though the papers have black in them, the stains or the aging in here is more of the brown. And I can even add a little bit to it if I want, like that, just to kind of bring that out. So that's why I did that. Just gives it more aging, like that. So that's what I'll be using to ink with on my project. So have these ready. I'm going to go ahead and glue these down. So I've got my pattern paper glued down onto the black cardstock mats onto the front cover. When you're gluing down, make sure you burnish your paper really well along the edges and across. I like to use my hand a lot to spread that out, and then really press with your bone folder or burnishing tool. Wipe off any excess glue, and that looks really good. So that's the cover on the outside. We're not going to do any of the decorating or anything right now. I just wanted to get the pattern paper on it. Then we're ready to start on the first element of our inside here next. So that's where we're at right now. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to work on this inside front cover, and we're going to make a regular pocket with an angle stacked, and then we'll put a booklet inside. So I think that's what I want on that. So let me get my paper here, move my book out of the way right quick. So I have a piece of 12 by 12 artisan cardstock. That. Okay. So the first one I'm going to cut is the bottom pocket, and I want that to be 4.5. 4.5. There. 4.5 by 9. And after we cut all these, then we'll score them. Just like that. And then we need one that is 6 by 7.5. So let's see if this is enough here. I hope 6. So I'm going to cut the 7.5 first. 7.5. That way I have a little bit bigger piece here in case I need it. By 6. Okay. Now we're going to make a booklet too. So I need another piece of 12 by 12 black. And this one is going to be cut, left at 12. But we're going to make it 9 inches tall. So 9 by 12. Okay. So now we're ready to do some scoring on that. Oops. So let's take the first pocket, which is our 4.5 by 9, and we're going to score a 1/2 inch on each end, which is at 1/2 and 8.5. And then we're going to turn it on the short side and score it a 1/2 inch. So that's for a pocket. I'm just going to go ahead and angle cut where the lines intersect, just like that. And then let's go ahead and just fold and burnish. So that's going to make the bottom pocket. So there's your bottom pocket. Okay, so then take the other piece that we cut, small piece, the 6 by 7.5. We're going to score the 6-inch side 6" at the top at a 1/2 inch. And then we're going to turn and score a 7½ inch side at just a 1/2 inch. So just 2 scores. Okay, so we have that. We're going to do some cutting on this, so let's just wait a second. Let's go ahead and score this booklet. Put your 12" in at the top and just score it in half at 6. We'll just fold and burnish that. And that will make our insert booklet. Okay, super easy on that. So for this one, we're going to need a pencil and our ruler. We're going to do an angle cut on the top edge from the fold. So this is going to be, let's just go ahead and cut this angle here, like that. And I'm going to go ahead and fold these because I want to do my marking while it's folded, because it's going to fit in above the other pocket. Like that. So there's a fold here and a fold here. So with the fold on the left here at the top, we're going to do a tick mark at 3½ right here. Tick mark so I can see it. Then I'm going to take this, got the fold here on the left, fold on the bottom. I'm going to put this in with the tick mark on the line, and then I'm going to kind of rotate it so the point down here at the right hand corner is in the cutting area, and make sure my tick mark stays lined up. Kind of move them around, drop it down, and just slice this corner off. Okay, so set that aside. So this makes this angled pocket like this for our book. Okay, so grab the book, open it up, make sure I've got it going the right way. This. So to make sure you have it the right way, you should have a hinge here or a gusset here, and you have your first flap like that. Of course, with this book, you could do it any way you wanted to, really. Reverse it or what have you. So first thing that's going to go in, now I know it looks kind of weird. We have black on craft, but that's the way I want to distinguish everything. And then we'll bring our pattern paper in later. So this pocket is going to fit right here at the bottom, right along the edge, so that it stays away from the fold of the cover. So let's grab our glue and put glue on the 1/2 inch on the back side. Now I'm using the black cardstock, but like I said, if you wanted to use craft, that's fine. It's probably kind of close to it. I just wanted the contrast. I hope that it turns out okay. I think it will, but you know how it is until you actually get it done, right? Okay, so I'm going to butt this up to the left side here to the bottom edge of the cover without going over. So you see my fold is here. I'm keeping it away from that. Burnish it. Let's take a look. See, make sure everything folds up right. Yep. Make sure it burnishes in really good. Okay, so that is it. This right here I'm going to lift up. It's a little bit too close to the bottom than what I wanted. So I've just moved it a little. Okay, yeah, that's better. For this ankle pocket, because I want to keep it open all the way down, I'm only going to be attaching it on the left side. And let me make sure my pocket is open all the way in here. Okay. So I folded this under to do my cut, but then I'm going to open this bottom one up as a placement guide. So I just unfold that. Keep this one on the left folded down so that it has the full height here. Put glue on that 1/2 inch, which actually ends up being more like just a flap because it's positioned under the pocket. It's going to hold it down like a pocket, okay? So line this up on the left side. Place the 1/2 inch guide. We'll place it all the way in. It's not going to stay. It's going to not be a guide actually. So we really didn't need that much. So we're going to put this like this. So this is going to have different papers on it. And I'm going to make sure it is straight in that pocket. And if you want, you can drop it down, which I think I'm going to drop it down. So I'm going to drop it down about, let's see, 2 inches. Yeah, push this in 2 inches from the top. Drop it in and line it up right there. And then I'm going to burnish. So that gives me my pocket there on the side. Burnish it all the way in. So I have a place where I can put something here, and also my booklet that I made is going to go right here inside. So all this will have pattern paper added onto it as we keep working on this. For page 1, which is the front of the first page, I'm going to add 2 flaps out of the black artisan. Remember, if you don't want to add extra flaps, you don't have to, but that's what I'm going to add into my album. So I'm going to cut 2. And let me grab my trimmer. So the first one I'm going to cut is for the right side, and I'm going to cut 10 inches. 10 inches by 6.5. Put that one aside. 10 inches by 6.5. And that leaves us with this other piece that's already at 5.5 by 10. So that's why you want to cut the bigger one first. So now we're going to score. So we only had to use 1 sheet of 12 by 12 cardstock for these 2 flaps. We do need to take this leftover piece, the 5.5 by 10, I'm sorry, and we do need to cut it down to 6 inches long. So it ends up, we have a piece that is 5.5 by 6. This is going to be a smaller flap on the left. Sorry about that. Kind of forgot about that part. So take your 5.5 inch side, make sure it's the 5.5, and score at a 1/2 inch. Go ahead and fold and burnish that flap. Take the bigger piece. You're going to take your 6.5 by 10. It's going to be like this. We're going to score the 6.5 side at a 1/2 inch. And fold and burnish that. So that's going to make 2 flaps, decorative, different looking elements for our first page. I'm going to burnish this really well. And now we're ready to put those in the book. Okay, so open up the book to the first page. And the short one is going to be centered in between here and here for about 2 inches. So I'm getting my ruler. I'm going to drop it in at 2, and I'm going to put a little mark where I can see it that I can erase with pencil. 2 inch mark. So that when I drop this down, I can line that up right there, and that'll be pretty well centered. So glue on the 1/2 inch attachment flap on the back. Put it down, make sure it doesn't go over the fold of the page or the gusset, or into the gusset rather. So you want to keep it where it is free of this section here, and just burnish that in. Open it up. So remember, all this is going to be covered by patterned paper. Then we take the bigger one, and it's going to attach right here along the fold. So this one lays down over the top of it. We'll be deciding about a magnet or what have you later. You know, this may have a cut apart here or something that we put on it, but this we're going to glue along the 1/2 inch on the back side. Right along the fold of this page and straight across the bottom so it doesn't overextend. Burnish that. And that gives us this flap like that. Okay, so that is page 1. Then we'll flip it over and then we'll start working here on page 2. For page 2, on the front of the flap, we're going to put these corners pockets. And you need to take from your scraps 2 pieces of cardstock, cut them down to 4 by 4. I've already done one. And use a ruler or place them on your grid here, and just on one side, at the top on the side, mark it at 1 1/2. And then just like we did for the angle pocket, place the bottom corner opposite from that mark in the groove. Put the mark in the groove at the top here and just slice off this angle here. And that creates this angle corner that we're going to use on this page here. So we want to turn it so that one is like this, one is like this, and one should have been cut. Yeah, like that. Okay. We got these here in the center, we got the angle here, and the straight on the top. Okay, so these are like angles because they're just going to hold a pocket or something. So the glue is going to go just, and they're flat, so they don't have any attachment hinges. So on this one, the glue, when you pick it up, this is the way it's going to fit. Pick it up, turn it over. The glue is going to go along the bottom straight edge here and along the other straight edge, not the angle. Just like that. Then lay it into the corner of the page, flush along the bottom. Right along the edge. Wipe off any glue, burnish those down. So that's going to leave us an opening like that. So the same on this one. So it's laying like this. Pick it up, turn it over. You're going to put your glue on the straight side, across the top straight edge, but none on the angle. Turn it back over, and I'm going to turn this so I can see it good, but pick this up so you don't get it glued down. Lay it on the page, the edges. Okay, so that leaves it open like this. So that's what we have on our front flap. And now we're ready for inside. And I think I'm going to leave this one plain, and this one's just going to have a pocket across, a regular pocket across the bottom. To make pockets, we're going to put a pocket here and on this one here. So this is page 2 under the flap, page 3 under the flap. We're going to make a pocket. So I've already done one. I'm going to show you how to do it. You cut 2 pieces out of a sheet of black artisan cardstock that are both cut at 3.5 by 9. So we got 3.5 by 9. And of course, you're going to score on your 9-inch side at a 1/2 inch, 8.5. Turn and make one long score at a 1/2 inch on your short side, like that. Do both these pockets the same way. I've already attached one in. So you just cut at an angle across the intersection of the score lines, like that. I'm going to go ahead and fold this up and burnish. Really simple to make pockets, so you can add these anywhere you might like in your album. Move this out of the way. So let's grab the book. Now initially I had planned just these on this page, but I have cut more. So in your cutting guide, it's going to say cut 4 4-inch by 4-inch squares, and then we mark them and cut them the same. So this one is going to go, I think I'm going to do them opposite, like this here. And then that would make this one go like that. So it's kind of like a double page spread. And then of course we'll have an insert in there. So I'm going to go ahead and put these on. And so again, you don't put glue on the angle. So you just flip it over here and you get on the one side, straight edge, and then on the bottom of it. And attach this one down in the corner here. Line them up with the page, burnish. So these are tuck corners, I guess you would call them, like that. So this one goes here again, not on the slant, but on the straight long edges. Now you don't put anything on that little short one there on the bottom. So nothing on the angle cut. And just 2 lines of glue like that. And we're going to lift this one up so I'll make sure I get it on without touching the bottom page underneath, and line it up like this. Okay. And we burnish that down. Put some glue on there, but that's going to cover up. Okay, so then when we open this up, we've got the pocket here we already put that I did off camera. And my second pocket is going to go right here. Now, if you wanted to put a notch in your pocket, you could. I am not going to, but that's certainly something that you could do. This one needs burnished a little more. Okay, so now again, you glue on your 3 1/2-inch tabs on the back side where they're folded down. Need some more glue. I think I've got enough, hopefully, to get this one on. You run out of glue, you run out of glue. So I've got to refill here real quick. Let me grab. Okay, let me pause so I can refill my glue. Then we'll glue this pocket on. Okay, so we're back in business with more glue in the bottle. So let's get this pocket glued in. And make sure it fits in right along the edge of the page. I got a little bit too much glue right here. Here we go. Make sure it doesn't go over the fold. Finish that in. Where's my heavier burnishing tool? Got some glue markings on there, but that's fine. It will be covered up with paper. pattern paper. Got a little messy there with my gluing. Make sure that nothing gets attached that's not supposed to be. Okay, so burnish it down. And now we have pockets here and here. So I'm going to clean up my glue a little bit. Okay, so there's that, like that, and then those fold up like this. Okay, so we're ready to get back into business with the next page. So that is, we've got the inside cover here. We've got page 1, page 2, inside and out, page 3, inside and out. And now we're ready to work on page 4. For page 4 and page 7, I'm going to do 6x8 photo mats out of the black cardstock. So you need 2 more sheets of the 12x12, or if you're using the 8.5 by 11, whichever size you're using of cardstock. But I've been using the 12x12. So I'm going to cut 2 photo mats. Real quick. Open this up. Since there's 6x8 photos, we're going to have to cut them a little bit bigger. That's why I'm using 2 sheets. So I want to cut them at 6 1/4. Save that by 8 1/4. There's one. Second sheet, 6 1/4. By 8 1/4. Okay, so those are going to actually go onto those pages, but we're not ready to put them down just yet because we need to pattern those pages. So I'm just going to take some temporary adhesive. This is the Easy Runner in the temporary that I got from Country Craft Creations. Take this off here, and I'm just going to put some temporary on it so that they don't get lost and I know where they belong. So it's going to be centered there. I'm using the black, and then I can add some of the colored cardstock on it if I want to. This one goes here, wrong page. Okay, so now we're ready to do some other work on a different page. So this is your page that has the flip up at the top and it opens on the inside. So I'm not doing anything else to that. This one probably plain, as well as this one. Come back to those. The next one I want to work on is this double flap. So I need to try to keep track of my page numbers. So I'm just going to write in pencil like this is page 1, page 2, which is the flap in the inside, page 3. It's kind of warped there. Okay, page 3, page 4, 5, 6, 7. It's this one, 8, 9, and 10. And then the inside cover. For page 9, we're going to do double tag pockets with flap closures and then photo flip out. I guess that's what you would call it. So let's get some cardstock here and my trimmer. So I'm going to see what I can make from these cutoffs. If you don't have any cutoffs, you'll have to get full sheets. So I need 2 that are 6 That's not quite big enough. So let me grab another sheet to make the pockets out of. So this is one sheet here for sure. So cut it down into at 6. We'll have 2 pieces that are 6 by 12. Okay, and then we're going to cut that down to 7.5. So those are should fit the pockets, the tag pockets. Okay, 7.5. Then I need 2 that are 7.5 by 5. So these cutoffs should work. So I'll cut this down to 5. And cut it down to 7.5. This other one should be a 5 also. 5 out of that. 7.5. And then we need little flap closures. So from these, we should be able to cut our flap closures, which need to be the 5. Right there. 5 by 2.5. Okay. There's one. So this is 5 by 2.5. Okay. Now we're ready to do some scoring. Let's take these 2 big pieces first. So these are our 6 by 7.5. My scoreboard. 6 by 7.5, and we're going to score the 6-inch side at 1/2 and 5.5. Turn to the 7.5-inch side and score it just 1/2 inch. That we'll do both of those same. Put the 6 in, score it 1/2 inch. 5.5. Whoops. Stay in the groove. Turn and score at 1/2 inch. Okay, angle cut down here where they intersect on both of those. Go ahead and fold, burnish. These make the pockets. And we're going to have to dry fit to make sure they fit on the page before we glue anything down. Let's get all these pieces ready first. Okay, now these we're just going to score on the 7.5-inch side. This is your 5 by 7.5 scored 1/2 inch on both. Okay, and then those last 2 little ones, your 2.5-inch side. These are 2.5 by 5, scored 1/2 inch. Okay, and fold and burnish. These are the closure flaps. Okay, put this up. Okay, let's grab the book, flip to page 9. And we're going to see how these fit in here. So one goes on the bottom of this flap, and one will fit at the top. Turn it sideways so I can see, make sure they are going to fit on that page. Yeah, with just a little gap in between. So that works. So before we put them in, let's go ahead and add our flap to the top because we want to flip up flap for extra photos. So they should fit. So glue and a 1/2 inch here. And the end that has the fold, or has the, the fold, attach this to the top of it. Finish it down. Should line up straight, though. Make sure. Okay. Lining up straight here. Okay. Burnish that down. Okay. This one sticks out just a tiny smidge there. I don't like that, so I'm just going to snip that off. Tiniest little bit. Probably my scoring or something was off. Okay. So that one's there. Then we put this one on. Fold here on your left. Line this up. Okay. Burnish. Okay. So let's go ahead. Put these in the book. So it's going on the page 9, which is this flap here. So this is going to fit right here. So glue on all the 1/2 inch tabs here that we have in the back side where they're folded under. And that one did not stick down. Glue where I didn't need glue. Be careful with that. I had glue on my top flap that was gluing it down. Okay, so the fold goes towards the inside of the book. So that pocket fold, attach it down right along the edge of this top fold here on the left, and then burnish it so that the pocket attaches down, top and bottom. This one should lift up. So I had some glue there that was holding it in place. Now it works like that. So I'm going to flip this all the way around and get this other one on. So now the closed part of it's going to go down here. And hopefully it all still fits pretty good. Just double checking here. So there's not going to be much of a gap between. They should be exact fit. I'm going to just put this one on first, the bottom one, and get that lined up first, like this, to make sure it is on there. Whoops, correct. it up. Okay, burnish that. Now then I'm going to put the glue on the remaining two. Bring that down. Okay, so there's our two pockets. And I meant to do a punch in here on these, which I'm going to see if I can do after the fact. Should I punch that first? I think there's plenty of room with the notch. The one I want to use a circle punch. Let's go ahead and put the notch in. So I'm just lining it up. I'm eyeballing it to make it centered and punch. So it gives me that notch. You can use a circle punch if that's what you have. Okay, so that worked fine there. So that's the pocket. That's the flap. Leave it like that. Now these closures are going to go in here. And I'm going to round those corners. So I'm going to use the 10 millimeter. Okay. And then these are going to glue along the edge of the fold of the page to fit over the pockets. Now, if you want to wait to put these on, to put a little bit of pattern paper right in here, you can. I'm going to go ahead and stick mine on. I think I'll be okay, hopefully, with putting my little bit of pattern paper in there. So this is going to go right here on this edge. Line up with the pocket and burnish. So you're going to put your paper in there. So that's why it, whoops. First, you got to make sure it stays. Don't want it coming loose. I'll show you again. Okay, I burnish it really well. So your little bit of pattern paper needs to cover this hinge anyway. So yeah, go ahead and put your flap on. That. Of course, we'll probably have a magnet there. So this one goes on. This one here needs trimmed just a tiny, tiny bit. Just make sure that they clear each other and are still on the page. Sorry, I think I bumped the camera. Okay. Oops, that was too far out. A little more glue. Make sure it stays on the page and doesn't stick out beyond. Boy, I'm messy with the glue today, that's for sure. Good thing for patterned paper, huh? Okay, so there's that. So this goes under. And that's where the magnets would go. So that's page 9. And then we're ready to get to work on the inside. We're going to do a little something on the inside of this page. If you want, why don't we go ahead? We are going to use magnets. So let me grab my magnets. These are the tonic ones from Country Craft Creations. So you need 4 of these. These are the small size. And I'm going to use Scotch tape, I think. Okay. So, okay, I'm going to put one on the center of this right here. Some glue down. These come with little sticker adhesives, but lately I have just been using my glue. Put tape over it to secure. And I'm going to put this one down, matching it, put some glue on this, and close it. See where it hits. So I'm going to press it down, let that dry. And put, come on, put glue on the center here. Cover that one with tape. Okay, so that one's held down with a magnet. So that is page 9. Now we're going to make a pop and twist element for the inside of page 9 under the main flap where we added the double pockets. Of course, this is just basically a A2 card, a 4¼ by 5½ card that has a pop-up element in it. So you're going to take 2 sheets of artisan cardstock. I've already cut this piece out. This is what we're going to get out of this one. So from one sheet, you're going to cut a piece that is 8½. And we're going to turn it and cut it at 10�3/4. Okay, that's to make our mechanism. And then from this piece that was left, I want you to cut 10½ in the length, and then turn it and cut off so that you cut it down to 2�3/4. Okay, so there's that piece. There we go. Now we're going to do some scoring. So let's put this away. So first we're going to score. Let's go ahead and score this piece. So we put the 10½ in at the top. We're going to score at 2 5/8. 5¼ and 7 7/8. So as you see, we have 4 equal squares. So we're going to fold this middle one down, burnish it. So that's in half, like this. Okay. Fold this right one up towards the center, the left one up and towards the center. And we have a piece that looks like this. Okay, so set that aside. This one is the card base. I've already scored it. So this one I cut out of a second piece of the cardstock of a 12 by 12. And this one I cut to 4 1/4 by 11, and I simply scored it at 5 1/2 in the center, fold it, and burnish it. And this would be a card base for our pop-up, okay? Set that aside. So now we need the pop-up mechanism. So we have this big piece that is 8 1/2 by 10 3/4. Let's put our 8 1/2 in at the top. And we're going to score at 2 1/4, 4 1/4, and 6 1/4. 4 equal pieces, okay? Turn it so that your 10 3/4 is at the top. Score at 3 7/8, 5 3/8, 6 7/8. Now when you look at it, you have 4 rectangles here, 4 rectangles here, and these little ones in the middle. Okay, so we don't need this anymore. So now we're ready to cut this. So in looking at it like this, you're going to cut out the 4 outer rectangles from each corner. So just take your scissors and cut along the score line up to the first score line here and cut out this rectangle. Just like that. Cut out this one. And this one here. And one more. Okay, you could keep these little pieces if you want, maybe to make tags or something, or for backing of some things. I don't know. We could use those. So now you have this. You have your 4 in the center, little 2 here on the outer ends, and then your rectangles on each side. So next we want to take, holding it like this, these 2, the shorter ones, these are shorter, the shorter flaps, we're going to cut move about 1/4 of an inch in from the bottom edge and cut at an angle up to the score line. Right there. Turn around, do it on the other side. To make it easier, just flip it over and now do the others. So you're making 4 angle cuts. So now we have a piece that looks like that. Okay. Now we need angle fold lines. So turn it over like this. You have your flaps like this. You have a score line in the middle. These score lines in the middle on the larger ones. You're going to take this one on the bottom, take this center score line, roll up the piece of paper, and line up where it easily fits without being forced, really. line up your line, the two score lines. This score line to that score line. And I'm going to hold it down, press where this has got air in it, and burnish that. That's going to give us a crease. Let's look at it. It's fairly close to the center. It's not perfect, but it'll be okay. Now then we're going to turn this other one, oops, the other way. This other one on the bottom, and we're going to do the same way. We're going to line it up to get a second angle. And press, burnish. So now we have two crossing right there in the center. Okay, now I'm going to fold the center line like that. So now we have that. We open it back up. We have our angles, and this like this will start folding in like that, and that's how we want it. So we want to go in and out, in and out. So now we're ready to glue this piece on. Now, when we add our pattern paper, I'm not going to do it right now. We will only pattern a square here over these two rectangles and this right here. We won't put anything in these folding sections or on this. So next, we'll also put pattern paper and matting on these four. So the next thing we're going to do, I'm going to turn this upside down so I can see what I'm doing. And we're going to take glue, this right section here, we're only going to put glue on about 3/4 over from this outer edge, and put glue here, not over the fold line and not all the way to the score line. We're going to leave a gap there. We're going to do it on the bottom one on the left the same way. The glue goes here below the fold line and on this section here. So it should be like that. Okay. Take your piece and fold it up. The center one, line it up on the center fold, and then just let this one fall down and line it up side to side. I'm going to burnish it right there. This one, we got it in the center. Let it drop down. Make sure it lines up top to bottom though. And burnish. Turn it over so I can see. So it should be glued here and here. So I'm going to let that dry for a bit on that piece there. So just hang on and let it dry. Now that we've let this dry, we're going to take this centerpiece that was attached, pointing down, it wasn't attached, lift it up in the middle like this, and start pulling everything in. So these meet like this, and bring your piece down so that it looks like a house. Now, I should have told you before we added in that centerpiece to fold and burnish this really good, but we're going to do it now. And this is where I correct that angle that I had that was a little off. So you want it to look like that. You want it to look like a house, roof on the top, or an arrow. So we have that like that. So we burnished it down really well and got that straightened out there on that top edge. And so now when we open this, that pops out right like that. Closes in, pops out. Okay, so now this will go inside our card like this and like this, and it will pop out. So we don't need to pattern on anything on the inside. I'm going to take glue. You can use score tape if you want to, but I'm going to put glue here along one side, on all the edges, right down the middle, and to cover it pretty good. Okay, take your card base, you've got your fold here. You want the point in the fold, but you want everything lined up down here at the bottom, like right in here. Everything should be as straight as you possibly can, with a little bit of a margin around it. It's okay. And then I'm press it down so you see my point is still in that fold. And I've got this one straight on the bottom. It's about 1/8 of an inch from the bottom. Black on black, you can't see it. About 1/8 of an inch on each side. So that's the way you want it. Press this down. So like if we wanted to put pattern paper in this other part, we could have. If I ever make another one, I probably will. But this one, we've got it this way. And we'll add pattern paper to it to decorate it up once we work on our album. Now you've got it like this, so just close this one down, press it down, line up your edges, and burnish. It's kind of thick, that's okay. So now we're going to turn it. I kind of want to make sure it's about the same, so I'm going to move it just a tiny bit if I can before it dries. Okay, there we go. I'm going to burnish in there. Okay, so now when it opens up, it pops, just like that. And that's where it's going to go in the book. So let me show you in the book on page 9. So this opens up. Here's our page 9 with this. This is where the twist and pop-up is going to go after we patterned our paper. And we'll probably put a magnet to hold it together. That's where that one goes, just like that. Under there, there'll be a magnet holding this one down. Open this up. We're going to leave this one plain. It has a pocket already built on, and we're going to make a waterfall for the inside back cover. We're going to make 3 waterfall flaps that will accommodate 4x6 photos plus decorative paper. So I want them to be 6x6. So I'm going to take a sheet of cardstock here, and I'm going to cut first at 6.5, just like that. Turn it and cut at 6. That should give me 2, like that. So this remaining piece is too short. We'll use it for the closure in the pocket. This piece I had left over. Hopefully you have a piece left. If not, then you may need to grab another piece of the 12x12. But I'm going to cut this one down to 6.5 by 6. And that gives me my 3 waterfall pieces that I need. Okay. I'm going to determine my other pieces after I get these made. Let's see here. I know this is a little more narrow. Okay. I'm just thinking how I might want to do something. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my scoreboard. And these on the 6.5 side, we're going to score a 1/2 inch on all three because that will make it then a 6x6 waterfall flap. So look at the 6.5 in at the top, score it at a 1/2 inch. And one more. Okay, now let me fold and burnish these. So let's grab the book and see how this fits in. These will go on the back inside panel. And they will fit right in here. Going to need to do our pattern paper. What I need to measure is how far down they're going to come. So what I'm doing is centering them here. This will be a 1/2 inch down. Approximately, and this one will be a 1/2 inch down. Okay, so then we're going to have a pocket here. I'm going to make it about 2 and 2 3/4. So a 1/2 inch. I'm going to cut it at 3 1/4. I'm going to cut a pocket. The pocket should be cut at a length of 9. By 3 1/4. And then we're going to score that. Put the 9 inch in at the top. We're going to score it a 1/2 inch. 8 1/2. Turn, score the 3 1/4 side at a 1/2 inch. Angle cut the intersecting lines. Fold and burnish. That will give us a pocket. Down here, let's dry fit it and see how it looks. It's going to be in this section here. Okay, this is going to go here, so these will be staggered here. I've got them upside down so I can see my 1/2 inch pretty much. Let's stick them down with temporary. Let's do that and make sure that everything is going to fit the way we want to. So grab my temporary adhesive, and I am going to just put some on each flap. We'll put them down permanent when we construct at our pattern paper. So this goes here, over a little bit, right along the top. Bring that up. The next one in. Just along the edge of the previous one, the bottom straight edge. There's one. hopefully I have planned the size so that you can put 4x6 this way, or in a strip of paper, or 4x6 this way and a strip of paper, patterned paper, to just decorate it up. That will fill up the whole section. I could have made them bigger, but I thought the 6x6 would work. So there's that. They're not perfect just yet. This will go here. So I could have made it taller, but I think it'll work fine. So it's going to go here. So these are down temporarily. For now, I have gone through my scraps, my good size scraps that I had, and I have corner rounded with the large corner rounder, the 10 millimeter, the corners for some photo mats and some booklets. So this one is scrap that was 4.5 by 6. I'm going to stick that in there. That's going to hold that waterfall down. This one was 12 inches by 3.5. I folded it in half at 6. Rounded the corners, so this has a booklet. I'm just going to tuck it in there for now. They can be moved around. Inside this pocket, I put one big one that is 6 by 6.5, rounded the corners. Then I have 4.5 by 6, a 3 3/4 by 6 1/4, and a little one that is 3 by 4.5. So just tuck those in for now. I'm going to make tag pullouts for these. So that one doesn't have one from my scraps. I also took one here that is a 3.5 by 4.5. It may work, may not. We'll decide when I'm doing it. I'm thinking of here on this gateway flip to put a magnet type closure with this piece here. So that's that. So open this back. I need to make big mats for these. Is this a pocket? Yes, here's a pocket. So some of these extras back here, give me a couple of these for now, I'm going to put here. So I already gave you those measurements. There's one there, and 2. So we'll find some more when I do some more cutting. What have we got here? I've got a few here. So we've got a booklet back there. I've got a tag booklet here. Now this one was 3 3/4 by 6 1/4, rounded the corner. Someone's tucked that one in there. This one is a booklet. It was 12 inches by 4, and I scored it in half at 6, so made the booklet. So that one can go right here if I want to. So those are just from the good size scraps that I had. Yours may be different. You may have totally different scraps, or you can just cut them up those sizes if you want, if you like, once I get them all done, if you like what I did. So now let's go ahead and measure this and see what I want for this. So I think the 6, 9-inch, do I want it that big? 6 by 8. Let's do the 6 by 8. So we're going to take 2 sheets of cardstock. I think I'm going to use the colors that were in my pack. I'm going to go with the blue, I think. 6 by 8. So I can get 2 out of this. 6. Eight. cut off that branding strip. Okay, they'll round the corners, 10 millimeter. Slip in like that around this. Okay, so there's that. So we have pockets in there. Is that one? Where was the other place? These right here. These guys need something in the pockets for this one. For tags to go inside these pockets here, under these flaps, I'm going to use the golden yellow and cut it at 7.5, one sheet of it. You can adjust this if I need to. And then 4.5, I'm going to cut two that are 4.5 by 7.5. Okay. Around the two bottom corners. And then I'm going to angle punch the top two corners with the biggest angle. So it leaves a wide thing here. Let's see how it fits. Yep, that works. So see, it fits in there with that flap. So let's do this one. This one goes in here. Okay, there we go. So there's those. And I think we are ready maybe to start adding our patterned paper in on our pages and pockets and flaps.